Larger Social Security benefits. That is what President Biden promised, and that is what we're going to talk about in this video. We're also going to cover an update on that $1,400 stimulus check. Let us know in the comments if you've received that one yet. We're going to cover that $200 per month stimulus boost, as well as President Biden's plans to reform Social Security benefits and provide larger benefits for the majority of people. But before we get into it, guys, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so yet. I'd also like to thank my sponsor, Webull. They've partnered with me to provide free stocks for my viewers, valued up to $1,800. You can sell the stocks immediately to use the money if you'd like, and all you have to do is open an account using the link that's in the description of this video. Okay, let's quickly cover the current stimulus checks. Then we'll talk about that $200 per month stimulus boost, as well as President Biden's plans to reform Social Security to increase benefits and his current infrastructure package, which we were hoping would include these benefits, but we'll do a quick update on that in just 1 second. Let's talk about the $1,400 stimulus check. At this point, most of you know that April 7th is the expected deposit date for the majority of people who are on Social Security benefits and either have direct deposits or have a Direct Express card. Now, many of you at this point either have a pending payment, you have a deposited payment, which was already deposited, or you still have neither and you're waiting for an update. The IRS said by this weekend, April 4th, everybody's Get My Payment portal would be updated. So go ahead and check that portal one more time. If it's still not updated, you might have to go ahead and call the IRS at this point, because according to the IRS, they said that everyone's portal would be updated by April 4th. And let us know in the comments, has your payment deposited already? Is it pending? Or do you see nothing at all? And let us know what kind of account you use. Do you use Direct Express? Do you use a direct deposit bank account? I'm not asking you to give us specific information. Do not give us your information. That would leave you vulnerable to a hack. I'm just wondering so our viewers can get a better idea as to who is getting their payments and who is not in regards to what type of account you have set up. But really good news, the majority of people will be getting their payments soon, entirely too late, completely ridiculous, and I've covered this multiple times in my videos, that Andrew Saul, who is the commissioner of the Social Security Administration, is the reason why these checks were delayed, and Democrats are calling for this man to be fired, but more on that in just 1 second. I quickly want to cover the fact that the IRS is sending extra stimulus checks to millions of Americans, and this might pertain to your situation. Now, this is specifically for people who filed their 2020 tax return and therefore qualify for more stimulus than was originally given to them. So, for example, if you filed your taxes in 2019, you might not have received a stimulus check at all, or you might have received a reduced one based off of your income. Now, millions of Americans either qualified for an additional stimulus check or more stimulus based off of their 2020 tax return, and the IRS is now catching up with that new information and sending you the additional money that you should have qualified for, if that kind of makes sense. So if you're watching this video, depending on your tax return status, you might actually get an additional stimulus check if you qualified for more money than you did based off of your 2019 tax return. Really good news, because we need people to get the most money possible, especially throughout this crisis. Okay, guys, so let's talk about Social Security reform. We're going to talk about that $200 per month stimulus boost, President Biden's plan to reform benefits in general, and the fact that Biden needs to fire the commissioner of the Social Security Administration in order to pave the way for a massive Social Security benefits reform. But before we jump into it, one thing I like to do on this channel is glance over front page news and kind of get your thoughts on current topics. Now, one thing CNN is talking about is the COVID vaccine. And one issue that they're bringing up is a lot of people are getting their first dose without scheduling their second dose. And then they're being left in a position where they're SOL and they cannot get that second dose. And that's causing a lot of issues for millions of people. So CNN is advising you to not get your first dose unless you can get your second dose scheduled at the same time, if that kind of makes sense. And guys, let us know in the comments, have you received your first or second dose of the vaccine? And let us know what your experiences were. They're also saying that if you get that vaccine record card, make sure to keep that somewhere safe, because some places might require it for travel or even require it just to go into their facilities. CNN is also covering the George Floyd trial, which is extremely controversial. And guys, if you have any thoughts on that trial, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But let's jump into Social Security benefits. House Democrats are really pushing for Commissioner Andrew Saul, the commissioner of the Social Security Administration, to be fired, not only because he delayed stimulus checks for the elderly and for the low income, those who need this money the most. Completely unacceptable. I cannot believe he would use my viewers as pawns in a political game just to spite President Biden for passing stimulus checks. And not only because of that, but he also does not support the expansion of Social Security benefits. He does not support the increase in benefit payments, which is what President Biden wants to do. And this person was appointed by President Trump. Now, I'm not saying this is Trump's fault, but this person who is in office is not going to advocate for people who want larger benefits. Not only that, the employees at the Social Security Administration don't like this man either, because he is trying to break up the union and he does not want people to join the union, which helps protect those employees. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think President Biden should fire and replace the commissioner in order to pave the way for larger benefits? Most of you know at this point that President Biden campaigned on the promise of increasing Social Security benefits. He wants to increase the annual COLA adjustment. He wants to provide larger payments for those who are low income by providing a minimum benefit, which is at least 125% of the poverty level. He wants to increase benefits for those who have been on benefits for over 20 years, as well as increasing monthly benefit payments for widows by an average of 20%. Now, for the longest time, we've been talking about this $200 per month stimulus boost. Will President Biden include this in his infrastructure plan? Because he needs to include it in this plan. Otherwise, he's going to need Republican support. The infrastructure plan is going to be approved using budget reconciliation, which does not need any Republican votes and is the same way President Biden approved this last stimulus package. So piggybacking that $200 per month stimulus boost would be the best way to do so by including it in this budget reconciliation. And Democrats can do this as soon as October, which is just 6 months from now. So if President Biden includes it in this package, 6 months from now, we could have that $200 per month stimulus boost. Now, unfortunately, last week, President Biden released the initial details of his plan, and it did not include that monthly boost. It included a lot of money on transportation, over $600 billion, the majority of which goes to electric vehicles and electric vehicle infrastructure, another $600 billion in rebuilding homes, rebuilding hospitals, and rebuilding schools, specifically in low-income areas, as well as investing in caregivers for the elderly, those who are disabled, and children, not only to provide better care for those who need it, but also to increase the income of these care workers. Now, I'm not going to jump too deep into the details of this package, but the point here is that as of now, this boost is not included in this package. Now, President Biden ran on the promise of increasing Social Security benefits for the elderly, for the disabled. So we're going to hold President Biden to his word. We're going to continue to talk about this boost. And we do have some Democrats who are still fighting to reform Social Security benefits. So although right now that $200 per month stimulus boost is still in question, we do expect a large-scale reform of benefits in the next 2 to 3 years during Biden's administration. And hopefully, fingers crossed, they will add this monthly boost to this infrastructure package. Now, let's quickly watch a video. There's an economist who's going to give an overview of President Biden's American Jobs Plan, which is the infrastructure, how they expect it to affect the economy. And remember, when the economy is doing well, that puts us in a better position to increase funding to Social Security, which therefore allows us to increase benefits. Remember, when the economy is doing poorly, it's hard to increase taxes. And unfortunately, we need to increase taxes on the rich if we're going to increase Social Security benefits. So let's take a look at this video. It does a really good job of summarizing President Biden's infrastructure package, and then we'll discuss how this might affect Social Security benefits and the possibility of that $200 per month stimulus boost.
The argument for infrastructure investment is it helps the economy. It helps make the U.S. a productive, competitive place to do business. There are really 3 different foundations of economic growth long term. There's physical capital, bridges, airports, the roads, the things that people think about as infrastructure. There's human capital, the skills of the workforce. There's knowledge capital, all of that great ideas and innovations that come out of research and development. And those are the kinds of investments that the public sector should make. The package that was announced this week, take the items one by one, and you say, how does this enhance the ability of the U.S. economy to grow over time? The biggest item alone is transportation, $621 billion. That is traditional infrastructure, okay? It's the way you would measure infrastructure. The infrastructure itself facilitates the private commerce, and we need to continue to invest in those facilities. The second largest item here is home care services and workforce, $400 billion. I understand the motivation, but it would not have ever been included in our measures of infrastructure spending in the past. It's here because it's something valuable to do, and there is a significant amount of money for worker training, worker upskilling. We know that as technology changes, the nature of the occupation changes, the skills required for an occupation change. We need upskilling of the existing workforce, and we need different kinds of training of the new workforce. Very important part of this bill. Next thing is manufacturing. So manufacturing is really interesting here because the US historically has really shied away from the notion of anything that might be called industrial policy. And in this infrastructure bill, there is industrial policy. There's some money set aside for the semiconductor industry. There's some money set aside for the medical industry. There's some clean energy because we want to encourage manufacturing of alternative energy innovations. The reality in the United States is we've always had industrial policy elements as part of federal spending. What's happened over time is that you've had these explosions of companies in pharmaceuticals or biotech or the whole internet, everything explosion. That has all started with basic science in the government and R&D support to the corporate sector. There are public benefits, economy-wide benefits for growth and competitiveness to have strong physical infrastructure, human capital infrastructure, and knowledge infrastructure. So in general, this bill hits all the right infrastructure targets and includes a few other items that they're putting in as infrastructure. They're not quite fit the definition that we would traditionally use.
Okay, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you like this next stimulus package? Do you like the idea of rebuilding infrastructure? Obviously, the idea of investing in jobs and investing in the economic growth of our country is a great idea, especially if the economy grows strongly and that paves the way for increasing Social Security benefits. Remember, the more income and wages grow, the more Social Security benefits grow as well. Based off of the way benefits are currently calculated, it also creates a situation where you can further tax the rich to even furthermore increase benefits. But the one thing I want to point out is how can you not include Social Security benefits as part of the human infrastructure? I've said it so many times on my channel. People who are retired, those who are on benefits, those who are disabled, have paid into the system their entire lives. How can we not provide a retirement and a life of dignity for those who have paid into the system for years? And Social Security benefits needs to be a top priority, not to be placed on the back burner. And unfortunately, the way things stand currently, they have been placed on the back burner. And you know what? I gave President Biden a break. The stimulus package was kind of crazy. That was their main focus for the first couple of months. But now that's done. And we need a strong focus on benefits. And now with Biden moving and focusing on infrastructure, we really, really need him to include Social Security reform in this package, as well as that $200 per month stimulus boost. So the expectation is that President Biden will reform Social Security benefits and will increase those monthly benefit payments for the majority of people who are on Social Security. And we're still hoping to have that $200 per month stimulus boost approved as well. hopefully to be included in this next stimulus package. But as things develop, we will have constant updates. If you've made it this far into my video, guys, please consider subscribing. Please share this channel with anybody else who you think might find it helpful. And thank you so much for supporting my work. It truly means the world to me, and I truly do appreciate every single view. But guys, with that said, we'll see you on the next video. Until then, take care and have a great day.